Okay, Ed, say something.
Boo. um, so what he's arguing, in a nutshell, is that technological progress will create, will destroy jobs, but it will also create new jobs. And what he also says is that actually our technological progress is possible because there is always a market for it, because there is people want to own stuff. It's never enough. We are willing to look for other ways of employment. We are not just going to sit back, relax, and wait for and just do nothing and work for half of the time because our job has been automated. We will try to look for new ways to generate enough money to buy everything that we have put into our economy. So the new products that we have invented, the new service that we have invented, we want to have it. And because we want to have it, we want to work hard, make enough money to be able to afford it. So new technology changes jobs, and it will actually create a new demand because people actually want to own it. That's the circle that makes this continuous improvement, actually the continuous improvement in productivity, and that makes technological progress not jobs become obsolete, but basically creates a change in what we do. It's very difficult to forecast what the outcome will be in the long run, what we will do in 100 years time, but definitely that we will do something else is quite certain because we always want more. What is a big challenge is actually that this higher technology requires more education, more skills, intellectual capacity, ingenuity in order to leverage its potential. That is that leads to basically a smaller upper class, and there's a bigger divide between the elite, the people who have the skills, who have the capacity to actually drive this progress, technological progress, and leverage its potential, the people who understand this the earliest. There is a solid growth in people who are supporting the people who make the money, the people in the services industry, the people who do the cleaning, the house maintenance, who do who prepare the bread and work in the supermarkets. There is a solid employment in that field, but the challenge is mainly for people in the middle class, because their jobs, their middle incomes, and their jobs are more or less routine. The middle class people, they have certain things that they need to do, and it's more or less a set process. Now that could be the focus of automation, where we can improve things that are more or less processed and easily replaced. So what we see is that actually the gap between rich and poor, what we are seeing, and the reduction of middle class can be directly related to technological progress. So the middle class is disappearing because we are automating the middle class away. We have a rising group of people, highly educated people, who manage to drive that technological progress. We have a rising group, an increasing number of people who are supporting the people on the elite, but we have a disappearing group in the middle. And it is up to us to create the institutions, to create the educational institutions, and basically the society that will look after people who are who are going to transit from one group to the other, who are going to be affected by technological progress, that will decide how effective that is. He's comparing Saudi Arabia with Norway. Both countries have oil. One country is very affluent. The other country is simply rich. Norway is affluent because they have the education, they have the healthcare, they have the social institutions, they have democracy that will make everybody more happy, not just the elite, but everybody, because there is more stability, there is less, people are less affected if they are there, the economic system doesn't serve them during a certain period in time. So people can more easily transfer and adapt to these technological developments. Whereas in Saudi Arabia there is a very clear upper class, and there is a very clear lower class, but there is no middle class. So it's up to us if we want to. But basically, technological progress will not reduce the number of jobs. It will reduce some jobs and it will create others. This will keep going. But what we do need to look after is not focus on the jobs that we are losing, but actually create the institutions that will make that transfer as smooth as possible.
So, how do you think?
I think that's quite likely. I think that the immediate impact for people whose job will be lost will be very heartfelt. We were talking about taxi drivers, for example. A lot of people at this moment in society, they don't have any savings. Cost of living is high. In a city like Tokyo, rents are high. Wages are not that high. The cost of living is very high. So people live immediately from their paycheck to paycheck. They don't have the capacity to save a lot of money. And this is the reality. If these people all of a sudden lose their jobs, they will be affected very harshly. There's not a social safety net in Tokyo, in Shanghai, in Hong Kong, in a lot of other cities all around the world. That is a point of major concern. I think we really need to get more serious and make sure that we create this safety net, that we create the institutions that will support these people and allow them to go through this transition. Without it, we will see a lot of unrest.
So in I talked with him. Okay, don't we talk about 10 years? We don't talk about 10 years later. Okay, we just talk about within 5 years, maximum 10 years. Okay, what's going to happen? And my opinion is what he said, like middle class, they're going to losing job, or they shifting to higher skilled job. He tried to get educated more higher skilled job. Okay, he can survive. Or middle class people will go into the low skilled workers. Low skilled workers will not be going to be automation. Automatic, job will going to be remain low skill. Lowest skill is not out of target of automation. So we're going to separate low skill or high skill, and middle class is disappeared. Like the United States, current America majority people is turn out to the lower income people, right? As you know, and past 10 years, like the next 10 years, what's going to happen? In the world, the similar situation will going to be happen. Middle class people disappear to the lower class, low income people, because of automation or AI. Will going to be reorganize the social system. So what we going to do? Of course, one way is how to educate those people to give them more higher skill, job skill, and the other is we going to discuss universal basic income. We try to scatter the money for everybody, kind of approach we can consider. But Japanese case is different. Japanese case, we don't have budget spending for universal basic income.
Budget in the Japanese government budget.
Yeah. and so this is not critical, situation. Okay, automation by automation, maybe we have job, but not like now. Okay,
Yeah.
not like the same way. Like I just told you, real estate company and small real estate company disappeared. More than 50% of the company will disappear next 5 years. And so sort of things I think we need to consider for what kind of action we should take. This is automation. He said automation, but instead of saying automation, we say just AI, right? And China focus on this AI next 30 years. They just spend all their effort toward 2025 manufacturing. This is every industry focus on AI, airplane, cyberspace, transportation, everything, banking, education, AI. They said. So American recognize current Chinese movement. So they try to how to overcome Chinese trend, and they Trump beat 5G. Not 5G. America is still lot of areas still much ahead compared with China, but they feel threat of Chinese current tendency. And Japanese is self. They themselves they don't think nothing at all. Like Meiji report, it's we are shortage of programmers. We are behind the system development, supply chain management, all system. It doesn't matter. The issue is not that area. We need to focus on what's going to happen next 5 years. They don't think about that. This is because Japan is life is everything safe, and everybody is satisfied. Their life level. That is not good. So based on discussion, we should consider for next 5 years, like what he said, right? How do you think?
Yeah, but I think actually this is something that you do not change immediately. This takes a lot of time. Changing institutions takes a lot of time, and it also requires redistribution of wealth. In order to do that, you need to, if you want to create a safety net, if you want to allow people to fall out of the labor process and shield them while they are preparing themselves for new jobs, that requires money. That requires investment.
Distribution,
You need to
I
invest
agree
now.
with you. Redistribution, I agree with you. Especially for the high income people, need to be redistributed, that like an inherited asset, like high income tax, or like American company like IT business, they don't pay tax. Sort of things we need to reconsider redistribution.
Yep.
This is
Heritage tax.
we need to consider for next 5 years, right?
Definitely.
Right.
Elizabeth Warren wants to raise a 2% wealth tax on the people who own more than $50 million, right?
50 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that actually will give enough revenue to finance a lot of these institutions.
But Warren is too much left wing person.
I'm
so-
sorry, it's Warren Buffett. You Warren in the book.
William Warren.
William Warren.
No, not William Warren.
Not William. It's
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Warren.
What-
Elizabeth.
what-
Elizabeth Warren.
She's a Democrat. He's a
Democrat.
candidate for the Democrat Party.
Democrat. Too much left wing.
Elizabeth Warren is one of the main candidates. Now everybody is talking about what's his name. His son was in Ukraine.
Warren? Vice President.
Biden.
Former Vice
Biden.
President.
Biden.
Biden.
Yeah, Biden.
Yeah, yeah.
So Biden, everybody's thinking about Biden, but actually Elizabeth Warren makes a quite good chance to become the next presidential candidate for the Democratic Party.
So far, but she
Biden is kind of like losing, and Warren is kind of going up.
cannot,
So.
she cannot win against Trump. But Elizabeth Warren is.
Well, maybe she doesn't need to win because maybe he will be impeached.
No, I don't
I'm
think
not
so.
sure. So yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but he should be.
should be impeached.
Only
Yes.
way he.
So you were thinking is that
only way.
Yeah,
Trump
absolutely.
should be impeached.
He should be in prison. That's my.
Yeah,
that's
only
my
way he
opinion.
will lose in position is the economy. Like next year, economy is drastically turn out bad direction. Maybe he is unstable to keep his position. But
He's a mafia leader. The guy is a mobster.
who?
Trump.
Almost a mafia.
Yeah, the way he thinks, the way he does, the way he deals with the situation, it's just like a mafia boss. Intimidation, threats, wheeling and dealing, abuse of power.
Wait a minute, this is a politician.
Well, not. Well, I think
He's honest, okay. He tried to not to conceal, but he just speak at everything, right? That looks like a mafia boss. But every politician like intimidating is this a normal way?
Is it?
Right.
I don't know. Well, then he's too honest or
Too honest.
unintellectual.
Too honest.
Too honest. Interesting.
Too unintellectual.
Actually, this is
Liar,
first
but
here.
too honest.
Too honest.
He try not to conceal,
Oh.
but he's liar.
Straightforward.
Interesting.
But what you said, okay, I agree with you. We need to consider rich distribution of rich people, okay? And because income gap is expanding next 5
Right.
years. But I tell you, but just he said talking about automation is instead of talking about automation, AI is a big change for social, structure next 5 years.